Better hurry, because I already went live.
Yeah.
Good morning, my friends. Just getting ready. Life. What's up, T? How you doing? You're the first one on, so what's up? Hey, Coach Superman. We're just getting ready here, letting the feed come up, seeing what's going on. All right. Check. Ooh, check. Hello. Good morning. Good morning. We're just getting ready. Good morning, T. Good morning, Coach. Good morning, Penelope. Good morning, Marie.
Oh, Penelope, that's such
Oh,
a
you
cute
guys.
name. Okay.
All right. We're on the big phone this morning because the other one was jacked up. So
Jacked up. What do you mean?
I don't know. It wouldn't redo the Instagram feed. Okay, we got a good topic today,
Check.
y'all. And just
Scoot
I
over.
like when you narf,
Oh.
you nudge me like that. Ain't cool. All right.
Okay.
Ready?
Almost.
Do this.
I just gotta
Let's
get this
go,
stuff
girlfriend.
out. Don't call me girlfriend. Okay.
All right. Who are you waiting on?
You.
Go.
There was a question in our email about
Why are you holding your mic like that?
why can't I hope
That's not how a professional newscaster holds it.
I'm not a newscaster. There was a question in our email about therapy. Do you remember it? Hold on. let me
Oh my
open
gosh.
it
Here. All right. I'm starting the show.
up. You don't prep anything. Don't get mad at me.
Ready? 3.
No. Hello and welcome to Anatomy of Marriage Radio. I'm your host, Melanie Studley.
Hey, my friends. My name is Seth Studley. I am a licensed marriage and family therapist, and today, welcome to AOM Radio, where we do 4 things every day, and then we talk about a topic, and we invite your questions in. And if you're watching us on Instagram Live right now, you can get a free workbook, the best marriage workbook ever.
That's right.
Which is not just for married couples. If you join us on Instagram Live, request to be in the video, ask a question, we'll see your beautiful face, you'll see ours, we'll interact.
And we're live on Facebook and Instagram literally right now, so you can catch us every morning. And Charlie just wrote, just bumped another live one to watch y'all. So yes,
Sick.
Air 5,
Somebody
Air
got
5.
bumped.
Yes, you can join us live every morning of the week, Monday through Friday, and we answer your questions. We do our prayer, we do a gratitude, and we do our intentions for the day with each other. And we encourage you to do these with your spouse. We don't do this radio show because we're weirdos. We do it because we want to change the world.
That's right.
The
so,
end.
join us.
Join
Share the
us.
show if you like it. Throw up a like or a heart as
Yeah.
well. So, all right, let's dive into prayer. We do 4 things. We pray, we share gratitude, we share an intention, and then we share some
Get your marriage on questions,
conversation
stuff of the
starters.
day.
So, all right, I'm a pray. Thank you, God, for your blessings. Thank you for all that you've given us. May we take time to focus on the things that we are blessed with and not what we are lacking or not what we don't have, but what we have in front of us. Thank you. Amen.
Amen.
Okay. Gratitude. Thank you yesterday for talking to the kids and teaching them in a good way for homeschool. I appreciate that. It's a cog in our family that works, and you're on it and you do a good job. So thank you for that.
Thank you. My gratitude to you is that chicken dinner. Oh my gosh.
Winner, winner.
We had winner chicken dinner. We had fried chicken last night with almond bread batter. What?
Yeah.
Almond flour batter. And we made it, I did sliced cabbage. We made our own, what's that? Crema sauce.
Mhm.
We had pickled onions that we made. I mean,
So you're thankful
oh.
when I feed you good.
Yes, it was the best. And I even bought taco holders, like
Yeah.
real metal ones that restaurants use. Thank you for that food.
You're welcome.
Beyond thank you for that food.
Thanks for finding the recipe.
Oh, so
you find
good.
it and you get the idea, I'll make it.
I'll make all your
country
sauces.
boy.
It was so
Well,
good.
It was like bougie fried chicken, I guess. 'cause
it really,
it was with
really
almond
good.
flour, but I'm not tooting anybody's horn except for mine.
Toot it. Okay, no, go.
No trumpet? Okay. I can cook some fried chicken, so
You can.
I learned from my mom, and she
Yeah.
learned from her mom, so.
And if we weren't on 75 hard, we'd have had that homemade chow chow, y'all. We just,
Oh, boy.
we couldn't, it's full of sugar.
That's right.
Anyway, I am so thankful for that. So you guys, tell your partner why you're thankful for them. Tell your partner, hey Heather, we were just talking about chow chow and fried chicken, girl. Anyway, so then the next thing we do is our, what is the word?
Intention.
Intentions for the day. This is your intention on how you plan to treat your spouse, your partner, in your relationship, and what you're going to do for that day to make it better. This is often based on what you aren't doing very well. So do you have... Go ahead.
You go first.
Nope.
Dang it.
Take it away.
Oh.
I'm going to... How about we suggest an intention? We'll suggest an intention.
Okay.
So you have a tendency to not physically connect with me, although you say it's your love language. You only give, or you only want to receive that love language. And I am not putting you on blast. I'm just saying you are asking for...
In front of our friends.
I'm not. You're asking for something that you tell me you want me to touch you, but all day long you were home yesterday and literally don't ever touch me.
I didn't even think about it.
Yeah. Did you want me to do all the work?
Okay, that's good. That's good. So
maybe your intention could be
that's a good thing.
to like touch me in a way that invites me touching you.
Right.
Touching you.
Oh boy, I knew you would sing that.
So that's what I think of maybe your intention could be for today. How about you do my intention
good.
for
I actually
today?
appreciate that. Okay, I want you to slurp your soda. I think it would be helpful if you really, really, really focus on not being critical, and every single word out of your mouth is literally uplifting. Now that's not like a Joel Osteen kind of thing. Like
don't throw shade. Joel Osteen's great.
He's not great. I'm throwing that shade.
No, you may not.
Okay, but be like that book that we're reading. Zero criticism, and only encouragement.
Okay.
Right? Only. There's this other psychological concept, unconditional positive regard. Carl Rogers. It's a whole theory.
Carl Sagan?
No.
Mr.
None of
Rogers?
it is.
Unconditional
but anyway,
positive
that's my
regard?
intention. Yes, so.
I like it.
Yeah.
My intention is now to be more positive and not criticize. And I am working on it, but I will work even more thoroughly on it.
Right.
And I just gotta think of like being rainbows and joy and love and light. God, my eyes were closed.
So dramatic.
Anyhow, okay, do your intentions with each other. You might be as bold as to do what we just did, but don't get in a fight if you do that. Don't be a jerk. Don't be mean. Don't get in a fight.
On to the questions.
All right, so this first question comes from our app, you guys. We have a flippin' app, and it is called Get Your Marriage On. It's soon to be called Anatomy of Marriage app. We are so excited about it. It's interactive. It's exciting. It has questions in it. You can get date night ideas and learn everything you need to learn. We are in it. We teach in it. There are videos of us teaching in it. Get the app. So this is a question that was submitted to the question and answer section of our app. It says, where did it go? Oh my gosh, where is it? I could cry. I can't find it. Anyway, basically it's saying, it says, my partner will not do therapy. He thinks it's dumb. He doesn't want to do it. He says, we know how to talk about questions, so we know how to talk to each other. Why would we go to therapy? Like, I don't need a therapist. So we wanted to talk about how to get your partner on board, or actually more importantly, the importance of therapy within marriage, why it's worth doing, why it's worth your investment, time-wise, financially, all of that stuff. Do you have thoughts right off the bat?
Yes, we were talking about this morning because we're the ones that do this podcast, and we are always thinking about it and thinking of new ideas. Sometimes we are this close to it, right? We are just, it's in our face, and so in order to do better in our show and what we want to do, like promoting and marketing, it is important for us to get an outside perspective. Like, we've had a coach before, and we are working with a marketing person, so they can come in, look at all of our stuff, and say, hey, you're leaving this on the table, you're not seeing this, there's huge potential here, why don't you go this way, and they are pointing it out. So my job as a therapist, when I see a couple or when I see individual folks, it is to listen to their story, hear their narrative, support them in that, and then from an outside objective perspective, because I don't know this couple, I don't obviously don't live with them, I see things that they do not see because they're that close to it.
Geez.
Right? It's so a therapist asks, have you thought about it this way? So I'm hearing you say this, but what your partner is saying that you're doing this, you're doing this, and sometimes in therapy there are more women that usually seek out therapy. That's a stat. There are more there's more female therapists, first of all, and there are more female clients than male clients overall in the whole scope of therapy. And that's because women sometimes are more attuned and more emotionally engaged and stuff like that.
That's right.
So they are more ready to go to a therapist and fix their problems. So it is no surprise that the husband is like, ugh, therapy.
Yeah.
You know, I, even as a therapist, sometimes eschew therapy. I don't want to go. You know, I don't want to do it. It's like, ugh, I don't want to talk or whatever. And also, men sometimes being more independent in that way think that they can figure out their problems, right?
Yeah.
So it's almost saying, hey, how to, take an engine out of an 89 Honda. I don't exactly know how to do it, and I could watch YouTube videos on how to do it to make it more efficient, to make it go smoother, and probably do a way better job at it. I ain't doing that.
Story of our lives.
Right. Yeah. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to waste time. And there's a sense of independence in that. Sometimes it feels good to be self-reliant. It's not the best thing, but it feels good sometimes. And this is probably what this lady's husband is going through. And to some degree, that can be foolish and not helpful.
Well, let me read the actual question. It's not very long. So it says, my husband thinks counseling is a huge waste of time and money and that it's pointless because we can just talk about stuff, except we have terrible communication. He never takes conversations seriously and thinks I'm overdramatic. So I thought this app would be a good alternative, especially because it has fun, intimacy, and sex lessons, games, blah, blah, blah. He just does not want to do the app. I've asked him to just try it for 5 days and he still doesn't want to. What suggestions do you have to help him get on board? And I think, again, that's talking about the app because it's from the app, but also therapy and the importance of it. And one thing that you just said is that sometimes it feels good to do something on your own, like whatever. That can also just be pride. Like I have many times told Seth, Google how to do this. Google it. Look on YouTube. It will show you someone has made this thing, done this thing, taken this thing apart, and you are 1 minute away, one Google away from knowing exactly what you're supposed to do.
It's kind of like the age-old thing that men don't ask for directions.
Yep.
And there's also research about that. Well, we don't have to ask for directions now, but it just looks like something else that's, the answer is over here. Go take a minute and look it up. But sometimes I hate doing that. I hate it.
Which I think is so silly because there's resources out there to do and to use. And the thing that as I answered this question in the app, because I texted this person within the app to answer them back, and I said, we often think that we know how to heal or do something, right? So here's a perfect example. When you don't feel well, like my knee is hurting. What's the first thing you do? You Google it. You think you're a doctor and you Google it. You go to WebMD.
You diagnose yourself with every other problem.
My very best friend in the world is a doctor. And she's like, it is the most annoying thing when people come in here and they think they've got they have a PhD in Googling and that they know what is wrong with him. And she's like, they have no idea. They didn't study anatomy for 8 years. They didn't dissect bodies. They've not done surgeries. They don't know what they're talking about, but they think they do, which is literally an echo of, my husband thinks we can just talk about stuff. No.
Right.
No.
So husband, I doubt you're watching, but if you are, that's great. I applaud you for it.
You just put him on blast.
Well, if he's saying that, get your pride out of your way, get the ego out of your way, and if something isn't working, then don't pretend like it is and say, we can just talk about it.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's not working. For real.
Yes.
If I'm keeping on driving around in circles because I'm lost, and I'm saying, well, I'm going to go down the same road, and it might, the building I was looking for might be there this time. That's goofy. What's up, Micah? Love you, bro. That's silly, right?
Yeah.
That's not the right way to do it. So, husband here, get your pride out of the way and listen to your wife. You'd be wise to do that.
Yeah.
I've done that before. I've not done that before, and it works.
Another analogy that just came to my mind is, and Charlie writes, somebody has done it and shared it before, so you do not have to recreate the wheel. I think that is brilliant to share
exactly
that.
Right.
So the other idea that came to my mind as I think of counseling and what it does and how therapy helps you is that you think of it like this. If you wanted to climb Mount Everest, you know that you have to hire like a Sherpa or whatever they're called, right? You know that you have to.
You have to have a guide.
Or you're going to die. right? If you think that you can go into the wilderness of your inner self and your past trauma and your relationship without a guide, you are going to die. You're going to cause a problem. Can you let me finish my analogy? It's going to cause a problem. You're going to get lost. You're not going to understand, why does this thing over here make me so upset and that thing over there makes her so upset? You need a guide. That's what a good therapist does. That's what a counselor is for. And so walking into that wilderness completely unprepared is like walking into the woods of the South. Like, I hope nothing bites me and I don't die. Like, you will. Something will bite you and you'll die. You know what I mean?
No, you won't. So how about 3 wrong turns, you ask for directions, boundaries, haha. Yeah, that's exactly right. Like, okay, we've had this argument before. We clearly can't figure it out. Let's go get some help.
Yeah, and remember, you can ask your questions in the live stream right now. If you've got a question about therapy, feel free to ask it. And then
I am a licensed therapist.
He is an actual therapist. And we did have another question in our emails about, can you explain what teletherapy was like? Isn't that what the email said? Remember?
Yeah, a listener wanted more information about teletherapy. And I don't know if this is because all the COVID-19 stuff, you literally cannot see a counselor in person right now because things are shut down. Hopefully we'll be opening up soon, and I've had to move all of my clients to either teletherapy or phone therapy. And although it is different, it is not that big a deal. It's like FaceTiming your mom who lives in Arkansas, right? And you're just talking, you see each other's, you see your facial expressions and all this stuff. So don't be scared of that. It is the same as real therapy. I like 3 wrong turns boundary. Yeah, that is good. It is the same. The same to the extent of you're talking to a real person in real time. You see all their facial expressions. You can read each other's body language and stuff like that. And it's if you're able to get over the first couple of minutes of awkwardness, then it just feels like you're in the same room having a conversation, but you're with a therapist, right? And in fact, I have found that I kind of like it better almost as a therapist. It's easier. You don't have to drive to an office. You don't have to wait in a lobby and do all this other stuff. You just go. Oh, I got an appointment, and 5 minutes. You get ready, find a comfy chair, get a cup of coffee or whatever, and then you're just right there. So teletherapy, that's how it is. You talk about the same exact things in the same exact way that you would as if you were face to face, right? And here's a perfect segue into one of our sponsors. It's called getfaithful.com/anatomy of marriage. And it doesn't matter if you live in Alaska, Hawaii, Arkansas, Maple Valley, South Carolina. It doesn't matter where you live. You go to this website, getfaithful.com/anatomy of marriage, and you get hooked up with a real licensed counselor. It would be exactly as if you texted me, we set up an appointment, and we do a FaceTime. You're talking to a licensed therapist confidentially. That means you can talk about literally anything. And it doesn't go anywhere. They aren't going to
share it with anybody.
It's HIPAA compliant. HIPAA means something. Health. It doesn't matter. I know what it means, but it's private. It's secure and it's confidential. So nobody's going to talk about your other stuff. Thanks for the hearts who's ever thrown that up. So again, getfaithful.com/anatomy of marriage. Sessions can be anywhere from 30 minutes to 45 to 55 minutes long. Insurance pays for it, and if you use that code, it gives you a special deal, and it gives us a kickback. So literally, go check it out. Getfaithful.com/anatomy of marriage. You can choose a Christian counselor. You can choose a secular counselor. You can choose a counselor who specializes in depression, who specializes in anxiety. You can get a marriage and family counselor. Literally, you have more choices than you may have in your small town.
Yeah.
Who's, a therapist who's been practicing for 100 years and they're 100 years old, and they know everybody that you know. Sometimes that's intimidating, but this person, you will not know them, right? I had a few sessions with my therapist via teletherapy, and it's actually not as weird as I thought, and it would be, as it would be, for sure would recommend.
Awesome.
Yeah, awesome. Literally, it is just like FaceTiming your grandma who lives 2 states over. It's no different. And so if you can get over that initial weirdness factor, then you're going to be good and you're going to be thankful. So go to getfaithful.com/anatomy of marriage. That's a great question. And I think because of COVID-19, a lot of therapy and a lot of school, there's going to be a lot of changes that it's our new normal. So I strongly believe that this, in my profession, as a licensed therapists, this is going to be a real way that we move forward. So a lot more sessions are going to be online.
Yes, I agree with all of that. I think that's awesome. And I did want to say, again, if you've got questions about therapy in general, like what is it like? What are you, whatever, pop them into the feed right now. I just pulled up, I was not ignoring you, I was pulling up the Get Your Marriage On app to show you guys different things about it. But one of the things I did want to talk about is what is therapy like from like a human's perspective, not a therapist. Client, that's the word. I remember when we went to therapy when we were first married, and Seth was already like in school to be a therapist, which I immediately thought, well, we don't need therapy. He's a therapist. Well, that was wrong.
You've even told me that you didn't want to go to therapy.
No, I did not want to go to therapy at all.
Why? Why not?
Same reason this person says, we can just talk about things. No, we can't. I don't know how things work in people's minds, and we cannot just talk about things. So I fought going to therapy. I was like, I don't need therapy. You do. You go. And I seriously sassed you like that and said, I don't need it. You need it. Get out of my face and go to therapy. And that was totally dumb of me, and that's what I did. But so what therapy feels like to me is kind of like going to the doctor, and that's basically what you're doing. You're going to a doctor of the mind, right? And you go into a waiting room. It's usually pretty quiet and calm, and then you go in and you talk. You just start talking to somebody. Like the therapist says, "Hey, so what are we here to talk about?" And you're like, "Well, I don't know. We fight about this all the time, and blah blah blah." And usually it's like. But then he always blames me, and he says it's my fault, and he says I don't touch him. So there's probably going to be a lot of like flinging out your anger in the beginning, maybe. But then the therapist is going to slowly walk you through. Well, why do you feel that way, and how is it? Whatever.
Here's how it usually always goes, for the most part. Couple comes in, or an individual comes in, and sometimes they're just ready. You know, like if you've ever felt like on the verge of tears, and you see somebody or you hear a certain thing and you just lose it, you just go, you know, and it's been building up for a long time. Oftentimes in therapy, that is what happens. The person comes in, shares what they've been wanting to share. They talk about what they've been carrying around for a while, and it's a really kind of come to Jesus moment, you know, and it just feels really good to get your stuff out, right? And then sometimes clients go, oh, well, that was a good session. I don't think I need to come back. But the therapist is like, whoa, we just barely scratched the surface. Now you shared all that stuff. Now let's deconstruct it and ask like the questions like 5 whys. I feel this way. Well, why? Well, why do you feel that way about feeling that way? And then you just dig it down, and then you get into some real stuff. So therapy isn't just like a one-time thing. I've had so many clients just go one time, thank you, that was awesome, and I never see him again. Right? And sometimes there's this real thing where a client-therapist fit just didn't jive. I've also had clients like that. Like a session didn't go good, and it's not like because I was super awkward and said, well, you suck, you should do this. No, it's not. It's definitely not that. It's just not a good fit. It's almost like going on a blind date and it's like, oh, there was no chemistry there. You know, that was like weird.
Or like buying shoes. You try some on.
Buying shoes. They don't fit. You get them home, you're like, well.
You don't keep them and wear them.
So people come, share all their stuff, cry, let it out, and then think, okay, I'm done. But it is very important that you go back a second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth time even, because then you begin to break down stuff, those narratives, maybe those false narratives that you've been carrying. And that therapist, because they don't know you, will ask questions that you've never seen before,
or
never
thought to ask yourself.
And sometimes I give the analogy of, okay, so here's Melanie's water cup, right? And if she's well, it's transparent, but if it was a solid cup and it had a sticker on one side, she's looking at it from that way and say, my name is on the cup. But if I'm looking at it from this way, I say, no, it's not.
The Starbucks logo.
What are you talking about? So sometimes the therapist looks at things, issues in your life, from a completely different angle that you didn't have time, that you didn't have eyes to see, that you just didn't know about, right? So that's one good thing about therapy. Listening to y'all every day, even though I'm a single person, has helped me so much become a better man now, and I know that the time investment will pay exponentially in my future relationship.
Yes.
Absolutely. You know?
Air five.
although this is called the Anatomy of Marriage, it's really just called it should be called. Well, I like the name, but it's Anatomy of Relationships. Anatomy of the individual person. Anatomy of self. Somebody else says you won't understand how great you are going to feel until you try it.
That's awesome too. Yeah.
That is a good quote.
Yeah.
That is right.
And the thing that I think of, like you're saying, you know, we use the analogy of climbing Mount Everest, right? So when you go to a therapist, it's almost like you have this feverish, I want to climb Mount Everest, I want to go, but what route? I don't know, blah, blah, blah. And you're like this flurry of thoughts and you don't know how to whatever. And the first therapist appointment, when you go meet your Sherpa, you go and they show you the route. They go, oh, you want to climb Mount Everest? Here's the route. And then you go, oh, now I can climb Mount Everest. But you really can't. You need someone to go with you on every step of the journey.
Because there's going to be things that come up that still you don't see.
Yes.
And the number one thing that I want to say to people who may be on the fence or are in a relationship and one of the people want the other person to go to therapy, it's not like, see, I knew you had to go to therapy, all this stuff. It's really, you can't force somebody's head down into a trough of water and make them drink. You just can't, you know. So it's very important that you don't make somebody else feel bad or anything. It's like, hey, here's the thing. Oh, my husband won't go to therapy, but I need to, and blah, blah, blah. Go by yourself. You can't make anybody else do anything, right? You can influence them, but one of the best things you can do is like, go by yourself. Somebody says maybe have the partner that doesn't really want to, go pick out the therapist.
That's a great idea.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
The thing I want to talk about that I think is helpful in this concept is there's a marketing idea by Russell Brunson where they talk about the new opportunity. As opposed to telling people why something else won't work or why your thing is better, talk about the new opportunity. So instead of saying, you need therapy, we need therapy, our marriage sucks, we always fight, blah, blah, blah. New opportunity. I would love to try this together. I think it would really help us. I think we could do this and we could have better communication. So as opposed to being like heavy-handed, blaming, everything sucks unless we do this, flip it the other way around and be like, what if we did this together? And what if we had this time? Show literally only the positives about it instead of like fire hosing the negatives, the things that you want it to fix. I know that sounds weird. I mean, that's how I always was. I'm like, well, see, you're wrong and it's dumb and blah, blah, blah. I'm like a negativity lava barf erupter. I've said it before.
I'm glad you said that because
that's accurate. And that's just not helpful. So bring out the idea of going to therapy as a new opportunity. Is a new way of seeing things. Be positive about it. Be clear about it. I love the idea of having the partner who doesn't really want to go. Maybe find the therapist or look together.
You could even ask the question, hey, what would it be like if we didn't argue about the same thing over and over and over?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying go to therapy. I'm not saying you're an idiot or anything. It just came into my mind. What would it be like if that thing that we have tension over, that we wouldn't have tension over it anymore? Well, I don't know. Well, you know, that's fine if you don't know, but when I imagine it, I imagine more happiness and more, more relaxing times and more connection. That's what I just imagine, so.
And I think too, in that, in that same vein of thinking and communicating it, like, the idea of talking about what the thing is that you want and saying, man, I really would love, we don't have sex enough and I would love to connect more deeply. Maybe someone can help us figure out what the problem is. Instead of being like, you never, you always, right? All that kind of thing. So I hope that this is helpful. I hope, and thank you everyone for commenting on this and giving your thoughts. That's really, really awesome. You can catch us every day, Monday through Friday at 7:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And you can catch us on Instagram and Facebook, answer or ask your questions live in the feed. You can also go live with us on Instagram. And if you'd like to send your questions in, you can do it two other ways. You can send us a question at hello@anatomyofmarriage.com, or you can send a question in via the app.
That's right.
Get your marriage on.
And we have a workbook for sale in audio form, which is $4.99, and also in a PDF form, which is fillable, which is $9.99. That was $24.99, people, but COVID-19
sale.
Yeah, so go to anatomyofmarriage.com to get your audiobook or your real PDF workbook.
And as always, go to getfaithful.com/anatomy of marriage if you need therapy. Teletherapy, it's HIPAA compliant, all of the great things.
Right.
So
Okay, is
check
there
that out.
a question conversation starter that you wanted to do?
No, I forgot.
All right, so...
we can do one.
Nope, that's fine. We're going to wrap it up. You guys, we're going to catch you tomorrow on Friday. We hope you have a good Thursday. Keep it real, keep it intentional, and we love you.
I'm going to post the question starter in Instagram and Facebook.
Perfect.
All right, we
All
love
right.
you. Have
Thanks.
a wonderful day.
Thanks, Cahill.
See you later.
All right, bye, guys.
Bye.